We'll have more on that story in just a moment, but first, law enforcement officers in Tyler County are searching for a missing 79-year-old woman. The death toll for U.S. soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan continue to climb. Well, we know Kerry Cooper didn't win the lottery because he's here with the preview of the forecast. Would you have come back to work?
Maybe so. Maybe this weekend, maybe next week anyway. But $250,000, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I don't know if they're believing you, by the way. Well, obviously, our meteorologist would know all that. But that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll see you back here at 10.
It's Ron.
Kelly, investigators have left the scene, but the smell that's still coming from this home in West Beaumont is indescribable, and the sight of the dead cats unbelievable. Beaumont Fire Department hazmat team and workers with animal services spent several hours removing dozens of dead cats from the home. The cats were discovered around 2 this afternoon. Investigators say a potential home buyer came to the property, looked inside, and noticed cats in the inside of the house in deplorable condition. Beaumont Animal Services were called. They obtained an administrative warrant to go inside the home. Matt Fortenberry with Animal Services says what he saw today ranks among the worst.
How that cat was still alive, I do not know.
Now, investigators say the home here has been foreclosed on, and they will try to find the owner of the cats first before knowing whether or not any animal cruelty charges will be filed. We'll have much more on this story tonight at 10, but for now, reporting live in Beaumont, Ron Reynolds, KFDM 6 News. Bill, the latest victim, a 65-year-old woman who walked out of this Subway sandwich shop, but there have been 2 reports of other carjackings. A family dining at a Beaumont restaurant and a man standing outside of his home had their vehicles taken. And now Beaumont police are trying to connect the dots.
Put the gun like this. I don't know, he want to try shoot me one time because he didn't roll it.
Rogelio Carrillo says he was standing next to his truck Friday night, listening to the radio when he was confronted by a gunman. Carrillo says he ran inside his house and called police. Shortly after, he realized his truck was taken, but he's glad his life was spared. You think the guy tried to kill you?
That's for sure.
Carrillo says Saturday morning he found a bullet. He believes the bullet fell from the weapon when the suspect cocked his gun and fired the first shot. Why are you saving it?
I'm going to bring it out to the police.
It may be a clue Beaumont police used to solve 2 other carjackings. Tuesday night around 10 p.m. at Carl's Jr. restaurant off the East Tex Freeway, a family from Lumberton became the second reported carjacking victims.
Attacked the father, hit him with a gun, took his wallet, took his car.
A second man kept the victim's family at bay.
You know, the best thing to do in those situations is give them what they want, because it's not worth anybody getting hurt. You know, the kids or any employees that may be working there.
And a third reported carjacking came Wednesday at about noon when a gunman confronted a 65-year-old woman loading food for co-workers into her silver GMC truck outside the Subway sandwich shop at a small strip center in the 1300 block of Calder. Minister Felton Allen says he frequents the center, and for his protection, he'll use the power of prayer, but says being watchful is important.
Brother, my protection surrounds Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Put a hedge of protection around me, brother, I don't worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying? My motivation to people is to be aware of the adversary. Watch your surroundings.
But even a familiar surrounding for Carrillo isn't comfortable anymore. You don't stay out in late anymore. Now, the descriptions of the attacker are all similar. A black male in his 20s, about 6 feet tall, with twisted braids or dreadlocks. To read more about the descriptions and the robberies, log on to our website, kfdm.com. And if you have any information, call the Beaumont Police or Crime Stoppers at 833-TIPS. You will remain anonymous. Reporting live in Beaumont, Ron Reynolds, KFDM 6 News. Law enforcement officers in Tyler County are searching for a missing 79-year-old woman and her 31-year-old son. They went fishing Monday and didn't return home. Sheriff David Hennigan told KFDM News a park ranger discovered their pickup truck Thursday afternoon off Highway 92 North near Dam B. The woman's purse was in the truck and her money. The The state prison system has sent dogs to help search for the pair. Deputies are looking for them, and they called in a helicopter. Hennigan says his deputies will continue searching for the woman and son. Department of Public Safety, Corps of Engineers, National Park Services, and private individuals have also helped in the search. Well, this morning, community activist Hilton Kelly from Port Arthur met 2 Port Neches teens credited with saving his life.
When you pray for something and you believe and you have faith, he answers prayers. I'm a living witness.
Yes,
because I was all but gone. And I said, Lord.
Kelly tells KFDM News he was on the Neches River last Friday testing out his boat before taking his family for a ride. He says his boat stalled during the test and he couldn't get it started again. Kelly says around the same time, a tugboat pulling a large barge came toward him. He says he tried to signal to the captain by waving his hands to stop, but the tugboat kept approaching. Hilton says he jumped in the Neches River just before the tugboat crashed into his boat, flipping it over.
Once I jumped in the water, I was trying to swim to shore, but I noticed that I wasn't going to make it because I had about a football field to go and I was exhausted. So I just started yelling for help, and the guys on the barge saw me, and they couldn't do anything for me, but they noticed that some guys were passing by in the boat, and they started yelling for them, and the captain laid in on the horn on the barge that was docked.
Dillard Youngblood was out on his boat fishing with his friend Kyle Ferguson as this happened. They say they heard men standing on the barge yelling, and that's when they noticed Kelly struggling to stay afloat. They rushed over and pulled Kelly to safety. Today, Kelly gave the Port Neches Groves High School juniors checks, but they gave Hilton his checks back, saying a thank you is all that's needed. Now, Kyle and Dillard say although they didn't catch any fish that day, they are glad they were out fishing because they were able to be at the right place at the right time to save Kelly's life. Well, hundreds turned out for the first Southeast Texas Mothers Against Drunk Driving Walkathon. KFDM reporter Callie DeSimone explains the event is meant to bring awareness and show the community just how many lives are affected by drunk drivers. Today's walkathon raised more than $50,000 to help raise awareness about the dangers of drinking and driving. Well, the danger of a falling space satellite is over. 2 huge pieces of space junk fell from the sky overnight somewhere into the Pacific Ocean. This video taken over Los Angeles captured the apparent satellite's descent to Earth. NASA has confirmed that the 6-ton upper atmosphere research satellite crashed down early Saturday morning. No exact location is yet known, but most of it is believed to have fallen into the Pacific Ocean or burned up as it re-entered Earth's atmosphere. It's the biggest NASA spacecraft to fall back to Earth uncontrolled since 1979. The satellite was launched in 1991 to study the ozone layer. Well, Carrie Cooper is here with the first look of our forecast. Carrie, how does it look?
Well, it's looking pretty good.
So people who live in Jefferson County got a checkup today in part because of a loved one who cares about their health. Jefferson County Precinct 3 Commissioner Michael Shane Senegal sponsored the 2nd annual health fair in conjunction with the National Take Yourself and a Loved One to the Doctor Day. The fair provided free blood pressure, prostate exams, and flu shots. LifeShare Blood Center hosted a blood drive during the health fair. Adults were also able to take diabetes, cholesterol, and eye screenings.
And people need services.
The campaign encourages Americans, specifically those who are least likely to seek medical attention, to see a doctor, make an appointment, or attend a health fair in their local communities. And learning the importance of living a healthy lifestyle was the focus in Bridge City this weekend as well. More than 20 dentists, other dental professionals, and volunteers from the community donated their time and talents to give free dental work to more than 150 adults and children. Thanks to Smiles on Wheels, it didn't cost patients a dime. Smiles on Wheels is a nonprofit organization dedicated to educating the public about oral health and improving access to dental health care for all Texans.
Dental care is as important or just as important as your overall health care.
Since December 2008, more than 1,500 patients have been treated and over $800,000 in dental care has been delivered to Texas families in need. And a little help from everyone is all it takes to keep our beaches clean. That's why the Texas General Land Office held its 25th annual Adopt a Beach Fall Cleanup. Among the beaches Southeast Texans visits, volunteers showed up around 8 this morning to Crystal Beach with gloves and trash bags. The cleanup lasted until noon. The land office provided lunch. Imagine spending 56 years on one job. That's how long a firefighter spent putting out fires and saving lives. Billy Jean Holder, known as Shaky, has had a long run as an Irving firefighter. He started as an Irving firefighter in 1955, and at age 21, the guys quickly called him Shaky because back then he was nervous. Now, after more than 5 decades, he still passes the firefighter timed endurance test every time. 2 years ago, the chief honored Shaky by placing his name on the fire truck.
He is a public servant, and he is going to serve them.
Oh, man. Well, Kerry's been previewing the forecast for a long time. You think you're going to be doing it for 56 years?
I don't know.
Well, tell us what you got today.
Please be.